Well, hello, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to an early morning edition of the Missing Wolves postgame podcast live stream thing. I'm Andrew Dukowitz from Zone Coverage, beat reporter for the Wolves, Gophers, and Lynx, and Tim Garrison hopping back on the pod. How's it going, man?
Andrew, thanks for having me on this late evening here. I appreciate you always having me on here, and I'm looking forward to breaking this one down. Unfortunately, not the best game.
Well, and before we get into it, first, like for the 30-something people that are already in here watching a post-game live stream podcast thing at 12:20 in the morning on a Thursday now, y'all are sickos. Like, that's the best thing about Wolves and Lynx fans, or you guys are absolutely crazy because I don't know if I'd want to relive this one tonight, but I will have to relive it, and I will be writing on it tomorrow. But Tim, first, before we get into it, I did want to ask you, how's fatherhood going? I think the last time I had you on, the missus was had the child, and you were just a few months into it. So how's it going, man?
Yeah, so today she's now 5 months. So we have kept a human being alive for 5 months, and she is really starting to get very cute. So I'm wrapping up my last month of paternity leave, and we get our routines down. She's been incredible. Fatherhood has really been a cool thing.
I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I feel like from coworkers that I've had, friends, family that I've had, the keeping alive another human being for however many months to years is always like the most accomplished thing. It's like we're doing it.
Yeah, man, it's definitely an adventure, but it's the most rewarding thing when you get that one little belly laugh, and that just makes the whole thing go.
Well, tough segue from the joys of
on with the bad news here.
Yeah, so I mean, I would say that if this would be the first time a game like this would happen, I think I would be very much in the camp of burn the tape, forget about it. Let's move on with our lives. Let's talk Rocco Zerkarski for 40 minutes and then let's get out of here. However, this is like the third one in a row where it's just been really bad. I mean, 153, 128 loss to the Clippers. I mean, I'd love your thoughts on it. Just, it looked like the fourth quarter they subbed Ant out for his normal like start on the bench, and by the time he came back into the game, it was just over. I mean, he only played 3.5 minutes. He was minus 11 in those 3.5 minutes, but like the Clippers just hit the pedal to the metal and just blew him out in the fourth. I mean, kind of what was your takeaway of like the fourth quarter when this one got away from them, and then just any general takeaways as well? I'd love to hear.
You know, and you kind of hit the nail on the head. If it was just if it was just the Orlando game, you know, tough shooting night, maybe you didn't quite have it, that led into your effort, whatever, you can write it off. It's a little bit concerning. This is the third game in a row where we have been down by more than 20 points. It's not a good trend. Not a good trend in March heading towards the playoffs. So the two words I've been throwing around, they're not really good ones. You know, it's disconnected is the first one. The team does not look like they're playing together. Disconnected. You want the team to start having that momentum and playing together, finding the ball, and having that communication. And right now it's just leading to a lot of lack of focus. And they're giving up a lot of easy buckets.
Yeah.
If you're not able to play well defensively, you're not really going to give yourself a chance in the game. So yeah, that disconnection is really a huge problem for me. And that's really kind of the scary thing about these last three games.
Yeah, I mean, the easy buckets, Clippers kind of just tore the Wolves apart. I mean, 22 of 28 in the restricted area. They are also 16 of 31 on above the break threes, which, like, when you're giving them up at the rim and at the 3-point line, I mean, kind of everything is failed at that point. I mean, a couple people in the chat are already coming in here, you know, Godfrey, Ant's defense sucks. Yeah, it was tough tonight. I think Ant was putting in the scoring work, but defensively, I don't think he's blameless in this one.
Yeah.
couple other people have brought up Julius already. Farah saying time for Julius to go. Pack mentality, just set up a bonfire and burn everything. I mean, let's just get into the Julius of it, I guess, right off the get-go. I mean, this is context. I wrote an article on Julius after the trade deadline of like, maybe it's just the trade deadline that's messing with him. He came out in October, looked lights out. November, put together a great November. And then December, January, and February up until the deadline, everyone else on the Wolves seemed to kind of trend upward or stay the same, like offensive rating wise, points per game wise, like any kind of metric wise. They were either getting better or about the same. And Julius was kind of the lone guy on the Wolves that just plummeted. Like even Mike was doing better as the season went on. And Julius just saw his net rating fall, saw his defensive rating fall off a cliff. His true shooting was going down. And I kind of thought, maybe it's just being in Giannis trade rumors for 3 months messes with him. Like he does like living in Minnesota. But now we're almost a month away from the trade deadline, and like nothing has improved. Have you like, where are you sitting at with Julius? And like, have you seen like anything that you can take from this that kind of explains it other than just, maybe he's hurt and it's just not being reported on? I haven't heard anything other than like John Krasinski has said a couple times that he's like missed practice and stuff like that. But what are your thoughts on Julius?
Yeah. I mean, so I gave you the first word and it was disconnected. The second word was disinterested. And that kind of explains a lot of Julius games over the last couple weeks and months here. Since December, or excuse me, since the year turned to 2026, Julius is shooting 27.9 from three. That's a problem. And it's a problem because now teams don't have to respect him when he's sitting out there in the perimeter. And that eats into his ability to drive to the hoop, warp the defense, and start making plays. So that's a huge problem when it's a guy who historically, when it's not going well, the rest of his game kind of falls off. Maybe effort falls off. So it's not good. It's not good. And you're just kind of hoping he can find that rhythm.
I mean, disinterested is kind of, what it's always different, like watching the games in the arena from like the press area. Cause like you can't get the same look from like above unless you're like looking at the Titantron and like you just, there's always a few tough Julius plays in a game where maybe he's dribbling too hard or he bullies his way into a shot, doesn't get the foul. But like watching it on TV against the Lakers and the Clippers back-to-back nights, like it is to that point where you're right. Like the shooting is kind of untenable at this point. Like last night, I think Dante swung the ball to Julius for a more wide open three. And it's like, I'd almost rather have Dante shoot a contested one than Julius shoot a wide open one at this point. And that just kind of wrecks the offense, right? Like it's already ISO ball heavy enough. It's already kind of hero dependent enough. Now, when you have one of the heroes just not able to hit anything other than these like just bruising attacks to the lane, it makes it tough. I mean, I guess not to get over our skis too much, but was talking to Benny Hughes about it last night. Just like that's kind of, I do kind of wonder if Julius, if it is part of just like knowing that might be the move this offseason is that you're out of here. You'd like to think that guys aren't thinking that way, but it does kind of seem like that's the move Tim's going to have to make, right?
Yeah. I mean, one of the key things that a lot of fans have commented on their frustration is Finch doesn't play rookies. And in particular, there's one rookie who has a lot of promise, and that's Yoan Berenje. And he's not playing because right now the Timberwolves have 3 high-quality, heavy-minute bigs in the rotation. And if you look across the league, not many teams play four bigs. I think the move is simply to take that forward position. It's a position of strength and try to go get a perimeter player, preferably a point guard, someone who can create. But really, I just think you need someone who can be an outlet for Ant, who can also be a 3-level scorer. And and really make that defense keep a second guy honest consistently. So that's what I'd be looking for. And Julius being on a three average annual value contract, he is kind of that odd man out when you factor in a lot of the disconnected and disinterested vibes around the team. It makes a lot of sense that he'd be the piece going out, especially if you have a couple guys, maybe a draft pick or a young player you could attach onto him and get a player. It makes sense to take from that position of strength and try to go get that second player who can be that contributor next to Ant.
Yeah, and the disconnected, it's like, I like that you're using that word, because that's like what Rudy calls it a lot is, you need connectors on a team. You need like certain glue guys, I think is the other term for it. And like the Wolves do have that. Like, I think Dante is a glue guy. I think Jaden's a glue guy. I think, Io certainly is. Kyle, Mike, Joe at the end of the bench are all those kind of guys. Like, it does feel like there's just a disconnect between the Ant and Julius side of, not like the side of the locker room, because I don't like being in the locker room. I don't get the feeling that guys are like picking sides. It's not like it's not like Mean Girls where like half of the table is just sat away eating from the other half of the table. Like, they do, I think, genuinely get along. But I think when Randle doesn't have it going, you can almost just see it and feel it through the TV of like, oh, this is going to turn into a your turn, my turn. And one of these guys isn't going to have a very good turn. I agree with you. It makes sense that it would be Julius to move out. I mean, that's where it gets really hard. And Benny asked me this question last night, and I want to ask you it. Like, what do you think would fix this team? Like, schematically, like if you could just snap your fingers and one thing change, obviously you have to keep all the players on the team, but what do you think would like make things maybe a little easier for them?
Yeah, I would love to turn Julius into another guard, preferably someone with decent size for a point guard, shooting guard position. But most importantly, it's a guy that can break the paint, collapse a defense, hit a mid-range shot, finish at the rim, and at least be respectable from deep. So I would prefer somebody that can be that outlet. And that begs the question, well, who can you get?
Yeah.
I mean, because teams aren't just going to take the players you don't want. And ultimately, because of kind of what's transpired, and we've had some slippage in play, and you're really seeing what you saw in New York where he was up and down a lot. Well, that's kind of proven to be true.
Yeah.
He has swings where he's awesome, where he's, an all NBA caliber player. Then he has swings where you just want him the heck off your team.
Yeah.
So you're probably looking at a guy with some baggage or an older player, maybe with an injury history. And that's probably the bin you're shopping in. We're probably not getting that big bona fide all-star for Julius, but maybe there's a swing. I'm going to throw out a name, DeJounte Murray. If he continues to play well, coming back from injury, there's always Kyrie Irving, maybe that revisits in the offseason, especially if the Mavericks get a rookie point guard. But you're probably looking at an older player or someone with baggage.
And that's what's like, I know the Kyrie stuff comes up in the chat all the time. As mini sports fan and pack mentality both mention Kyrie as you're talking about it. Like, my hesitation with Kyrie is 33 years old, coming off of a major leg injury. And like his contract is kind of absurd. Like, I'm bringing it up here now, 3-year, 119 million. I mean, you're probably having to trade Julius and something to make the money work at least, or not Julius and the money. I have Julian Phillips on the mind because we will be talking about that at some point. But like, it does just feel like this team needs a pretty big pivot, which my kind of off season, I'll tell you first real quick what my answer was to that was essentially turn Julius Randle into prime Ryan Anderson and just let Ant be Harden and see where it goes. Noting that Julius Randle would probably hate being Ryan Anderson, but yeah, I think this offseason, like if you can trade Julius for like a couple first rounders or a first rounder and a couple seconds, and then you're able to move Rudy for a first rounder, then you're talking about having like 3 or 4 first rounders you can pack together with like a Naz Reid and things that you got back from those. And you could theoretically, as people have brought up, Cole brought up Giannis.
Yeah.
Like theoretically, you could go after someone like that. If it's like, hey, we want to keep Rudy because of the defensive stuff, which like fair. I wouldn't argue with Conley if he decided to do that. Like Rudy has kind of proved this year he's far from falling off. You're right. Like it probably is like a DeJounte Murray, which I loved Spurs DeJounte Murray. I don't know how much I love Hawks and now Pelicans DeJounte. Right. Could you get like Lonzo Ball has been a nothing in Cleveland, so that's probably gone. Somebody meant up Darius Garland was the Wolves have wanted him since that draft. That's why they had to take Culver.
Yeah, they thought they had him.
They did, and then we got Jarrett Culver, who was the first person I've ever seen in person look terrified to be on an NBA court. Which
but did you see that NCAA tournament run? Did you see the tourney run?
It was not good. Texas Tech did not do good. But like, the other thing that's kind of tricky is, Julius right now does have so much of a role on offense that like, if you were to trade him and you miss, like, let's say you trade him for Kyrie and Kyrie's just doesn't have it in the same way. Like he's lost some of his burst because of the leg injury. Then it's just kind of over, like, and that's I'm not by any means promoting like, hey, don't make a move because you might strike out, but like, that's kind of the downside of it where they're at right now, which before the deadline, I mean, who knows what you could have gotten from Randall when he was on that tear, right?
Yeah. So somebody brought up Giannis. Cole here brought up Giannis, and I just want to touch on that really quick while we're in the deal-making mood over here. My theory on what a Giannis trade would look like is Minnesota is going to spread a web across the NBA and make a series of trades with their shipping off, Rudy Gobert to Charlotte, who decides they want to be good next year. Maybe you pick up a couple role players for salary match. Maybe you keep one of them or both of them, and a pick here or there. Maybe you move Julius in a move like you're describing. Pick him another first over here. All of a sudden, you have a couple solid role players that maybe you're getting back, and a lot of picks that you can attach to Jaden McDaniels and send over for Giannis. And what I really want to make clear, the Timberwolves fans are not going to like my idea of a Giannis trade. But if you're going to assemble Ant and Giannis, I think the context of this Timberwolves team is dead. You have to give up the Jaden, Naz, Ant. That's over. It is now Giannis and Ant. And I think you're going to have to ship out a Naz Reid and break his contract, that 15% contract, down into 2 role players to fill out the team to have enough depth if you were to combine Ant and Giannis. So that's kind of what I see, like the craziness of a Giannis trade. I think it's like a massive 5-6 team deal where you're shipping a guy out here, getting pieces back here and there. And that's how I think they can get Giannis, get the picks for Giannis, but also get some role players on top of it. So that's my mad scientist theory on that.
Yeah, I'm not going to push back on any of it because I do think, like, if you include Jaden in a Giannis trade, like, it becomes 1,000 times easier to see how that works. I just, like, there's just something with Ant, Jaden, and Naz that, like, it to me, and I acknowledge this fully as like a selfish thing, right? Like, I get to cover the team, I get to talk to these guys. Jaden and Naz are delightful. I would like to continue to talk to them. Would also like them to win a championship. That would be really cool. Banners hang forever. But like, I'd like to continue talking to these guys.
Yeah.
So like my ideal Giannis trade is like, how can you keep those three? And it probably doesn't happen. And then it's like, well, if you can keep Ant, Jaden, and Giannis, and then just get a bunch of mid-level, like vet minimum guys, maybe you have enough. But you're right. Like, ultimately, the easiest way to probably roster build is to keep like Io and Dante, and then just sign a buyout big. And then you have Giannis, Io, Dante, Ant, and a buyout big as your starting five, and you're probably feeling really good. I mean, I do think that is all we're going to hear about all offseason is Giannis. It's weird because I haven't really heard that Giannis is all out on Milwaukee still. So that's weird. But it is just like this offseason, and I kind of get the feeling from fans too that like they're ready for the playoffs to start. They just want to see what happens, like answer the question of if this team has it, and then move on to the offseason where we can change. Tim, I do want to get into some of the people kind of further down the depth chart though, just because like Johan goes down to Iowa and just crushes it. Julian Phillips has been like legitimately fun. Like there's something there. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a good basketball player, but like there's something. But first I'm going to run a couple ads and then we'll get into like the down further guys. Cause we've actually gotten to see them a couple times this week.
Not the way you want, but we've seen them.
Well, hello. Thank you, Livestream Andrew. This is Ad Read Andrew. And today we have Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, the presenting sponsor for the Missing Links podcast. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling strives to inspire people to follow their ideas, working with respect and understanding to create a quality, tailored result. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, located in Blaine and serving in the North Metro area, is here to help you with your building and remodeling needs. I can say personally, thanks to Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, I have a beautiful deck in my backyard and countless projects that I started, they finished. Get started on your new deck or remodel today by calling Isaac at 763-710-5686. And we're back with another ad read, this time for Pence Homes, the presenting sponsor of Hitting the Hardwood Network. From the best tools and technology to transparency throughout the entire process, Nate Pence and the Pence Homes team is the top choice for buyers, sellers, and is proud to support you and your home ownership goals. Get started today by calling 612-308-1122 or by emailing info@pencehomes.com. All right. So real quick, let's just couple people. It looks like OJ now just asked coach lost the locker room. I don't think so. I mean, we talked about it a little bit before we got on here, but Tim, any sense that you have that like it's a Finch lost the locker room type of problem versus a player type of problem?
Yeah, I think it's more player. I think there's justifiable criticisms of Finch. I think I don't want to gaslight fans out there. I think there's some real criticisms, but this is also a coach and a team that's accomplished a lot together. And I think that gives them the dignity to finish the season out. I don't think the Mike Malone situation is happening. The only reason the Mike Malone situation happened is because of a very toxic front office coaching staff situation. So unless that type of thing is bubbling under the surface that we don't know about, I think Finch and the staff is going to be here, and I think they're going to, at worst, start with a warm seat. And that's my kind of take and read on it.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too. Like I don't get any sense that he's lost the locker room. I think Finch is kind of at a point where it's almost like a throw your hands up type of moment. Well, like what can you do to motivate these guys as the coach? Like he's screamed at him. He's had horrible film sessions. Like it, I gather that it's almost more of like either this team is just ready for the playoffs and they're going to flip that switch and they don't care about seeding, which I mean, honestly, maybe making it as a 6 seed was the worst thing that could happen to him, right? Like, kind of showed him that seeding doesn't matter a lot. I mean, even Jaden, before they went on this road trip, John Krasinski asked him, like, how important is a home playoff series? And Jaden just kind of goes like, it's not. I guess I don't really care. Which, like, let's be honest, Jaden loves playing on the road. He says it all the time. He likes people booing him. Like, he likes being the bad guy. I don't think it's a Finch message issue, though. I think it's literally just like these guys just, I think they can turn it on, and maybe they do need to just get smacked in the mouth this year in the playoffs and grow from it. But sucks when that's like results in a wasted season. I mean, it won't be like wasted. Ant will be all NBA, Obear will be all defensive, all of that stuff. But like, it does kind of suck when you're looking at it and it's like another year where, they didn't really have a realistic chance to make it. Let's talk some of the guys down the list a little bit here, because Johan Beringer, excuse me.
Yeah, here we go.
Johan is crushing in the G. He's so good.
Oh man, he is quickly becoming like a animal. He is so much fun to watch amid this 3-game streak. First off, I am so happy that we now are comfortable being able to send him down to the G League.
Yeah.
I mean, before you add Kyle Anderson, you're like, ooh, I mean, what do we do if someone's in foul trouble? Like, we need Joan, even if he's not going to play. So getting Kyle Anderson allows you to send him down, and these are such crucial minutes. It is not a talent issue with Johan Beringer. He just needs reps. He just needs to get out there and figure out his feel on the court. Because right now his core issues are getting in foul trouble. That to be expected. He's a super athletic dude who's used to being able to swat anything. So love that he's getting these reps. Love that he's dominating.
I mean, to your point, in the G League, I believe he's averaging 5 fouls a game in his 2 games, one of which he got 6 and the other one he got 4. Like pack mentality says, anytime Rudy sits, Johan should be in. Like, I think there's a legitimate concern with if Johan comes in, he could have 4 fouls in 3 minutes, because that kid just jumps at everything, which is like awesome. Like, I post a lot of the times when like Finch talks about Johan, you can like hear in his voice how excited he is about that kid. It's just, you're right. He needs actual minutes playing real basketball, but the talent is there, right? Like, he goes down to the G League and scores 25 with 15 rebounds. Like, it's just, I don't know. The joke over Summer League was like French Giannis, but it might just be French Giannis.
I mean, there's so much there. So when I first came across Johan, it was right after I kind of came to terms that we were never going to get Kaman Malawach in the draft. We're too deep, which Kaman ended up not being much of anything anyways yet. But Johan, he stuck out to me. I basically went into Google and typed up 7-foot athletic big. And on like the 4th page of Google, I came across this grainy footage of Johan Beringer, and he got so much better from his first game to his last. The improvement, astronomical. Like, his first game, there's no chance this dude is even like going to be a D1 player. To his last game, it's like, oh my God, this guy could be baby Giannis. And that's what's so much fun. I mean, he doesn't have a jump shot. He doesn't really have much of an offensive bag, but somebody who's that athletic, that coordinated, and has that high a work ethic, I mean, you really can't say no. They can no to anything with what he could be. So just love the fact that he's getting reps. He's so talented. He can be anything. I'm not going to quote him developing a jump shot, but I mean, the kid he's just got a lot of talent.
Yeah, and this is like another sneaky thing with the Wolves is like Kevin Hansen is kind of like his developmental coach that he's been just like stapled to. Like, anytime he's working on stuff, it's either Kevin or like Flight, the wings coach. And like, Kevin had like an actual like overseas big man career as like a power forward, like a 6'10" guy. He's still like able to kind of participate in drills because he's not just like super He's not like super old, but like, I mean, every practice, like I go in there and Johan's staying like later than all of the media, later than Ants, later than everyone, working on like post moves and stuff with Coach Kev, which I mean, Cole asked Jaden or Johan. I'd still take Jaden because he's more of a known commodity, but that might be just me being risk adverse. Johan, like, there's a world where he's just Rudy, like Rudy with better hands. I mean, they both fouled a ton in their first couple of years. They both came from France, which doesn't mean everything, but like they're both just these like hyper athletic guys. I mean, it certainly could be Johan develops a mid-range game or something, but even if he doesn't, like his hands are phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, baseline, his instincts are off the chart. I honestly am impressed with the footwork on his post moves already. The fundamentals are really good. Yeah. I mean, the fundamentals are all there. I have no question that at a minimum, he is going to be a starting caliber rim running big. It's just a matter of how much can he translate? How can he get there with his IQ, his positioning? Can he add a short roll pass? Can he maybe add a jump shot? You know, can he eventually hit a wide open corner three? Those are all kind of like the levels I think of, okay, I think we have our starting center, but I mean, how many swing skills can he just add on to that? And it's just really exciting to think about, especially watching him, you know, do more than just catch lobs in the G League, where he is backing down his man in the post. It's just fun to see.
I can't remember who said it over Summer League. It was either Matt Lloyd or Kevin Hansen. And I apologize for whatever reason in whatever world they're listening to this, but like one of them was just like, the thing with Johan is like, he just knows where to be naturally. Like he doesn't have to like think of where he needs to be defensively. He just kind of like naturally lists that way, which like to have that like just skill of like, I need to be here. And it's like literally an instinct. Like you say, it's so instinctual that he just kind of like naturally does it, is such a leg up already. Yeah. And then you put in the, like, he is just a ridiculous athlete, the work ethic, like, I will never forget for his entire career in Summer League going up to him being like, what do you like doing off the court? And he like puts his head down, and I was like, do you play like 2K or FIFA or anything like that? And he like puts his head up and he's like, no, I pretty much just play basketball. And it's like, oh, okay. So this is your entire thing. There is nothing else. Like, okay.
Good answer. Attaboy, kid. Way to get in the lab.
I mean, it's been proving so far. The other guy that I've just been consistently impressed with is Julian Phillips. Like I kind of assumed he was like the Nikhil piece of that IO trade where he was just kind of thrown in to make salaries work and stuff. But like there is something there. Like he as well, just like on defense, he seems like he's in the right spot all the time. On offense, like he has this like burst. He can't shoot at all from what I've seen, but like there's something there. What are your thoughts on Julian? Am I overreacting or are you kind of feeling the same way?
No, I mean, he kind of pops in a way. I think there's something there as a defender. Ultimately, you already have Jalen Clark on the roster. You have Terrence Shannon Jr., who I think actually kind of looked good.
Yeah,
in those minutes today, he was driving.
He was fine against the Lakers too.
Yeah,
he's fine.
He was putting some pressure on the rim, finding his man in the corner, making some plays. But back to Julian Phillips. I mean, he is just such a smooth athlete. I'm not sure he can really guard big threes. Maybe he's got to put on some weight there. But just a really smooth athlete who, like you said, can defend, be in the right space, and be a transition player. So I'm kind of with you. I think he's going to be on the roster next year. I think they're going to guarantee that player team option for this next year.
I honestly think so too, and I wouldn't have said that when we traded for him. Like, I thought for sure it was just make salary work, see what he does in the gym. But like he just seems like there's something. I don't know what it is, but it just seems when he's on the court, he consistently does the right thing, which in garbage time doesn't happen a lot. A few people are bringing up Jaden in the chat. We'll get to that in a second. I did want to ask you just about Rocco. Has not missed a shot in his career. And good Lord, is it fun to watch Rocco Zergarski play basketball? What is your Rocco thoughts, Ben?
Yeah. So I try to separate like the fun excitement of this massive human being who can shoot a three. I think he's very far away from being an NBA player at this time. But what I will say is watching him tonight, I've always said he's so big where if he can just learn how to be a high IQ player, be in the right place at the right time to mitigate how much of a non-NBA athlete that dude is, I think you can have like a rotation caliber big. And watching him out there tonight, he did have a nice short roll pass where it's like, okay, maybe he is reading the game. And that would really give me hope that, okay, he's going to be a functional NBA player because his timing is great on blocking shots. His timing is great. He has size. He does have some really fun skills. It's just, can he overcome the fact that he does not have NBA athleticism?
Lumbering is the word I would use for
I would even say that's gracious.
It is, like, again, to your credit though, like Finch in preseason, I remember him saying that Rocco is almost the opposite of Johan. Like Rocco doesn't need to learn the game. He catches on to concepts quickly. He reads it really well, but he's 7'5", and I think almost most of the fans might be able to outrun him if they really wanted to. But like, you're right. If he can get some playmaking out of at his size, like, could he be I mean, Boban wasn't really that much of a playmaker and wasn't that big of a 3-point shooter. I think he gets kind of remembered differently now that, he's all but out of the NBA, but like, you could get 10 minutes out of a dude like that. He just needs to be so good at everything intangible and not the like, if you could merge him and Johan together, that would probably be the ideal, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that would be a player. Did you imagine a 7 foot whatever? How tall is Rocco? Is he 7'4"?
He's listed at 7'1". I believe he is closer to 7'4" because he is significantly taller than Rudy Gobert.
Jeez, and then you put a jump shot in Yohan Berenger, game over. Game over. That's a player. Yeah, that's a poor man's Wemby, and a poor man's Wemby is still probably an all NBA player.
I mean, Cole mentions Johan blocked Wemby and wasn't scared. I mean, that's the thing with these foreign players. You don't think about it, but like, these guys do kind of grow up playing against each other. Like, Wemby was on the French national team. Johan was on like the junior French national team. Like, they scrimmaged against each other a ton. Same thing with like the Eastern European dudes. Like, the amount of times Rudy has played Valanciunas is probably in the thousands. Like, they do just, like, I don't think there's the same level of fear when you've played against the guy in practice all the time.
Yeah.
Let's get into Jaden though, because a couple people before we wrap up here were asking just if Randle were to go, is Jaden, does he have like another ceiling or another level? I mean, I've been pretty in the Jaden McDaniels camp my entire Wolves writing career. I do think like if you gave Jaden a 24% usage, like, he'd probably be a 20 point a night scorer. I think he's a better playmaker than he gets credit for. I think Jaden's biggest problem on this roster is that he is too unselfish. I think he is one of the few guys on this team that is like actively trying to move the ball while everyone else is just launching it. And it kind of hampers him. But like, if they just traded Julius for like role guys and broke up his contract, like, I think Jaden could be like the third best player on a championship team. I don't think he could be the second though. Where do you think?
In the context of moving Randle to make way for Jaden, I think as much as I would love to see like the Nas and Jaden trio, I think people would be a little bit disappointed at what Jaden would be immediately next year. That said, Jaden is kind of getting the baptism by fire within the context of a competitive team where Ant got all his reps when the Wolves weren't that good. He was, banging his head trying to get to the lane and learning those tough lessons. Jaden's been kind of working that in on the fly. I think if you're able to maybe get that bridge player, maybe pivot Randle into someone else who can be that second option, but be that second option in a way where it promotes more ball movement so the ball can find a Jaden more often and kind of naturally have that ramp up where you're moving Jaden away from maybe being that primary defender only type of player and turning him more into that offensive third option who still plays defense. I'm not saying he wouldn't play defense, but almost kind of that ramp up where maybe by the time that person you trade for is starting to tail off, then maybe age 28, 29, Jaden could be more of that second option. But that's kind of my thought on it. I think it'd be a mistake to assume he could just jump into the role, but I do think he has that potential and you could ramp him up into it.
Yeah, I agree that like if it was just Ant and then Jaden's the second best player on the team next year, like they're probably a 6 seed. Like I think Ant is good enough to drag any team to the playoffs. Like he's kind of proven that this year that he'll just outmuscle other teams to get there. I do think Jaden, like if Jaden went to Milwaukee in a Giannis trade, like I think people would be surprised in how much of a scoring bag Jaden has if he was just like, I kind of think of him like Jeremy Grant when he went to the Pistons and was just putting up 20 every night. Like, I think Jaden could get there. It's just how good can that team be? Which jury's out on that. Jaden's never really been asked to be anything more than like, honestly, he's probably like a 4th or 5th option on this team, like with how they use Dante and Nas. But like there's something kind of what I say with Julian Phillips. Like there's something there with Jaden. Like his offense, like his playmaking with Rudy is just always smart, and like his shot selection is usually pretty solid. Like it'll be interesting to see where he ends up shaking out because he's as well only 25, like 3 years from now, Jaden.
So I mean, if you were to do that Kyrie trade, right? Yeah. Like you do this, you swap Kyrie, whatever assets Minnesota has to add in to make that work. Yeah. What's attractive to me about that is that exact ramp up. Kyrie's older. He's not going to be around, but if he can be 90% of what Kyrie Irving was, that's essentially putting Mike Conley in a time machine and going back 5 years, which is kind of the player Minnesota needs. Yep. In the context of this team. That player is going to promote the ball getting to Jaden and getting the ball to Jaden in collapse defense situations where he's going to have easier attacks, easier reps. That is a context where I can see Jaden kind of elevating successfully, very successfully into a third option. And maybe that confidence continues to grow as we've seen that confidence continue to slowly grow. And maybe that is one of those contexts where I can see him being that second option 2 years from now, 3 years from now. But I don't know.
Love that you bring up the Kyrie part because I do think, fans, I hear a lot, and I honestly kind of have this critique too of like there really isn't a ton of motion in this offense. Like there isn't a ton of back cuts, there isn't a ton of like movement ever. And I mean, pulling back the curtain, part of that reason is like Julius and how he plays. He kind of needs set options. Like if Jaden were to cut to the corner, Julius does a spin jump pass and throws it into the 4th row. Like it just needs to be static for that guy. And Ant also, like when he's getting blitzed and doubled, like Ant is not quite to the like Ant still needs set outs. I'll put it that way. Like Dante needs to be at a certain place. There needs to be a post player that he can get the ball to and get it back from. Like they need that kind of staticness to work with their 2 best players. Like if you exchange Randle for Kyrie, like now all of a sudden people can cut. Like Kyrie is a basketball genius. Like all of a sudden Jaden cutting from the corner as a 6'11" hyper athletic wing. Like that guy could get multiple lobs a game. Like
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Clark kind of unlocks that as well. I mean, the downside with that is, again, like it's very risky, but like I do think there is a world where that works. And if it's not Kyrie, like DeJounte Murray,
right.
like just a point guard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't even really need to be like a ball dominant like Ja Morant, Trae Young. Just someone that can like read the game as it's coming out so that you can have more movement and have more fun stuff. Johan Berenger brings up slow-mo as the primary point guard. Honestly, yes. Like if slow-mo like that's the type of brain they need in their next point guard. Is just a guy that like, all right, Jaden's cutting, I'll throw a lob, instead of Jaden's cutting, I don't see him in the corner, what's happening. Really quick, just before we get out of here, Cole asks, why would the Mavs want to move off Kyrie?
Oh, yeah.
What's your thoughts on that one?
You know, it's a good point. I really don't think they would unless they were to land a Darren Peterson or Kingston Flemings. If they were to get one of those big time top point guards in the draft, maybe they would look at Julius as a way to, okay, we want to bring along Darren Peterson and not be roadblocked by Kyrie and make that shift. Because I do think that they're going to want like a veteran bucket getter just to provide them with a floor, because they don't have picks. Doesn't know good to be bad. So that's the only context where I see Kyrie really even being remotely possible. Ultimately, it's probably not realistic, which is why I'm starting to throw out the name DeJounte Murray, even though people aren't going to like that for good reason. He's had a rocky last couple of years. But that's probably the bin of player we're dealing with. That's more realistic in the Julius Randle trade.
I mean, Cole brings up LaMelo. I'll be honest, like when that LaMelo rumor kind of hit, I texted some people that cover the Hornets and they're like, LaMelo loves it here. Like people leave him alone and the food's good. Like LaMelo's not leaving the Hornets. Like I think that dude legitimately loves kind of,
they're good all of a sudden,
his own thing. And yeah, they're a top 10 in net all of a sudden. Like they're a good team.
I mean, they're a team that like is probably going to be calling about Rudy to get better.
I mean, honest, like Rudy, I think his value has changed completely. Like you look at last season going into the year where it's like they benched him for Wembanyama and kind of made up a finger injury, it sounded like. And then like he has kind of a rocky year with Randle for the first half. This year, Rudy, like if he didn't already have 4 defensive players a year, he'd be like the front runner for that. I think like the Lakers, the Clippers, Dallas, Charlotte, Washington, you put AD next to Rudy. Like I think Rudy is going to have a ton of interest this offseason.
Oh man. I mean, LA, who's likely going to be facilitating a LeBron James trade.
Yeah.
LA would absolutely love to pair Luka with Rudy. That would absolutely destroy so many terrible narratives. If Rudy Gobert would be paired up with Luka on the Lakers, it would almost be, I almost want that for him, just so LA fans and the national media finally catches on.
Watching Shaq announce Lakers Rudy Gobert games would be incredible.
Oh man.
I do think like this is the offseason to get off of Rudy, because like his value is going to be sky high and he is also a aging big, but like there's going to be a slew of GMs that talk themselves into it. Now it's not going to be the way the Wolves talk themselves into it, where they gave up like 6 first-round picks.
Oh no.
It's probably like salary filler and like a first-round pick, but like there'll be interest. Same with like Randall. Like I think what's always interesting with guys like Randall is like texting around the league or like talking to other teams' media. Like they just don't get it. Like I honestly think like New York's media gets it. We get it, but like no one else really gets the like up and down. They just look at like, well, he had this really hot stretch, and like other GMs are like, you don't get to that position in the NBA without having some level of like blind arrogance. Like people think they can fix those type of players. Like I think that's what the Wolves thought when they brought him in here, and honestly they kind of did. Like he did bring him to the Western Conference Finals. But if they want to move Rudy, if they want to move Randle, someone will talk themselves into it. Like,
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna throw one more thing out.
Kings guy.
I'm gonna throw one more name out. And it stems from the one team that I know has had interest in Julius Randle, and it's the Miami Heat. So if they were to strike out and not get Giannis, and maybe they just want to pivot, maybe Bam Adebayo wants out. What if you do a trade where you're sending off Rudy Gobert to the Charlotte Hornets, and you're sending Julius Randle to the Heat, and you're picking up Bam, replacing that center position. You're getting that second star, maybe a little bit more consistent than Julius Randle. That's another thing I could maybe see, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I don't know if Bam. That's the thing that'll be really interesting as the playoffs go on, because that's when all the rumors start to come out of like who's actually unhappy, and like, I don't know if Bam's unhappy. I honestly really like Sabonis. Like, you talk about like basketball genius. Like, if you just get Sabonis in for Randle, the defense probably suffers or stays the same, but like people can cut now. Like, it'll be really interesting to see what gets put out there, because I do think the Wolves are set up to make the trade for whoever's unhappy. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun off season.
It will.
All right, Tim, I do want to give you space here. We're at 50 minutes in the podcast. Where can people find you? Anything you got coming out, anything you're working on? The floor is yours, sir.
Yes, sir. So you can catch me at the Daily Wolves. Also, I am on Twitter at Tim Garrison, MN. Check out the Daily Wolves tomorrow. We're going to have Matt Caldwell on the show. So a lot of good quality content coming out there. We're looking forward to ramping up for the playoffs. And again, appreciate you having me on, Andrew. Always good chatting with you.
100%, man. For anyone that joined in on this late at 1 a.m, this does get published as a podcast, live stream, YouTube video, whatever you want to call it, over on YouTube and X. As soon as I end the stream, it does get published as a podcast this morning in about 6 hours over on Spotify, Apple, anywhere you get your podcasts. And we'll be back. Tim, I believe you're joining me after the Golden State game, so we're not sick of each other yet. We're going to do one more pod together before the year's out, after hopefully a rebound win in Golden State. But the quotes I'm seeing coming out of the Finch presser are not ideal, is what I would say.
Oh man, that'll be fun to dive into.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you after Golden State.
Take care.